Greetings, my friends, and welcome to another rousing adventure in the world of Kriegeland. Today, we have the continuation of the Heroes of Kriegeland in the Heroes Tournament, and just after their match, in each kind of ascending horrendous fashion, Joseph kind of just got bludgeoned down to the ground and went out. So when you come to, you're kind of being brought back. You're out of the Arcane Engine and you're just in like one of the floors of Belario's tower. You just kind of wake up on a bed and there's a couple of clerics and like a trauma surgeon that are just like standing over you. And so it's kind of like the last thing you remember is, I believe it was a group of beast men that were roping you down and stabbing you with spears.
Yeah, they threw one of those Roman nets over me.
Like the netted chains. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So you kind of come to, you're the first one out. Oh, and it's like kind of a weird, harrowing experience to like be basically killed, but then brought back instantaneously. And then you see like a pink swirling fire kind of spit into the room and onto a bed lands. I believe Bird was probably the next one that went down. He has like a severed arm and they're like scrambling around. Someone does a quick healing word spell to like immediately take care of any like, seconds of emergency that, if you're trauma bleeding or something like that. They run over, they help him out. A few moments later, another pink swirl as Stovar comes in full of spear wounds and horn rips and everything. They patch you up, couple of healing spells. You guys are back, and then they escort you. Some of the royal guard are around there. They escort you guys down into the stone staircase that goes down and around into just another lower floor that's kind of like an empty, like warehouse-looking type place. And and there's a couple of guards at another door in there, but they're just like all sitting there like quietly. So you guys are done with your match. And in a little bit of time, some of the other teams will start coming through. I don't know if there's anything you guys needed to say to each other afterwards.
That went better than I expected. And I haven't had alcohol for at least 10 minutes. What is happening?
That sucked. Oh, no. I need like a nap, crap, and a big old baseball bat. Not necessarily in that order.
One of the guards that's like listening is like, well, what's the baseball bat for?
Your stupid mouth, you dummy.
He just looks confused. It's like, sorry?
That's it. I walk over to the guard. Hold out my hand. Weapon inspection.
He looks over at the other guard who kind of like gives him like a, yeah, do it, man. And so he like, he hands you like his little, he has like a little like light spear, and then he has like a sidearm that's like a longsword or something. So he hands you the spear.
Just kind of look at it, turn it over, go, look at it, and I look at the end, and then what did you do to this side?
He'll like lean in to look at like what you're talking about.
Boop, bonk him on the head.
The other guard cracks up, but the guy does actually get kind of steamed a little bit, but you can tell he like has to keep himself measured because you guys are like celebrity status right now.
I'm gonna walk away with the spear.
Okay. He's like, wait. He takes his spear back. Stovar, are you doing anything until others show up?
Well, Bird, I gotta say, taming that giant snake really worked out there.
It did.
Ah, that was impressive.
If only Mr. Tallman over here had the presence of mind to not hit it.
Freaking acid splashing all over the place.
I'm saying.
Okay, you guys hear a voice from upstairs. Rage, like a rage screaming, like, "Ah! And they're like, you can hear people like kind of calm him down, and then he's like, you know, you hear some muffled voices, and then another team comes down, and it's the team that went second. The first guy that comes down, he's like a pretty tall human barbarian of the north looking kind of guy, and he's got a battle axe and a shield, and he's just covered in blood. He hasn't cleaned up like at all, and his shield has the emblem of Zargile, which is the god of war, like the evil god of war.
Okay.
He comes down, and one of his teammates looks familiar to Stovar, because one of his teammates is the like middle-aged druid Tuck, whose gut is hanging out of his leather armor.
Oh,
He was your teammate in the like original thing, and then the last person that comes out with them on their team is a short, like Eastern-looking girl who's in battle maiden armor and has a long bow.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the three that come down, and the Zargillian like human guy is really like amped up, and he's like, "What a battle! You know, such blood to be praised." You know, like
Did the Cyclopses get you guys too?
Cyclopses. What Cyclopses? You saw Cyclopses?
Yeah, about 15 rounds in.
15. He looks like his whole like life is like shattered before his face. And the girl touches his arm and whispers something, and he goes, "Ha! Oh, okay. One of those things you call jokes around here. I hate those things." And then he goes and he like kind of broods in the corner.
I see Zargile isn't the god of intelligence.
I will pretend he didn't hear that because he would.
Oh, I said it quite loudly. It was a stage whisper.
Oh, okay. Well, he turns
Joel,
around.
you're gonna get me in fights.
He turns around and walks over to you, looks you up and down, and then just kind of like shrugs his shoulders, and he's like, "You wouldn't even make a toothpick to me, you know." Then he just like wanders off.
Well, that's because my pants are on.
his teammate Tuck is like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Little harassment between the things, but how many monsters did you slay? What's your real number?
Are we supposed to count?
I lost count, Tuck. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'll hold up both my hands.
And he's like, well, I guess someone had to have been watching, so we'll find out soon enough. Then you guys hear some noises, and a little while goes by, some noises upstairs, followed by another team that comes down. A standard human cleric. His name is Hector of the Light. He was the one that was restored to the tournament, even though he lost in his match. On his team is Nakessa, who is technically Joseph's wife. And then let's see the other. Oh, and then there's another guy who looks like he's in like witch hunter clothes, and he's got like a leather brim hat. He's got a bunch of hand crossbows on him. So those three come down, and they're like kind of arguing with each other. It kind of sounds like, from what you guys can glean, it sounds like they might not have done so well. So they're kind of bickering amongst each other when they come down. I don't know if you wanted to say anything, Joseph.
Was it the rust monsters? Did they get you?
She who are you just talking to all three of them?
Yep.
They're like, no, we never saw any rust monsters. We never saw anything but those damn snakes.
Oh man.
The barbarian human dude he like boisterously laughs, and he's like, "You didn't even kill the snakes."
I like the snake. He was my friend.
Some of them look confused by that statement, like, what? Okay, then the next.
The snake was the easiest part.
Well, yeah, of course. And the guy with the hand crossbows he just kind of broods silently, and you can kind of tell that the other two are like kind of apologizing because they didn't do so well, and he seemed like he was doing pretty good from what they were saying, but he's just pissed because his team didn't do so good. He got a bunch of crits and all sorts of stuff. He was doing great.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Well, that stinks. Me and her were a great team when we were together.
Yeah,
do you remember those days?
She comments on that actually, and she's like, "Man, that's right. There was something special about us. That blessing you gave me. It really, I thought I was untouchable, and then I lose to a common giant jungle snake."
Common.
I felt like we had great chemistry. I felt like I was really impactful. You were really impactful in our fight. I'm hanging out with these two testicles, and I felt like just meat slapping in the wind.
Well,
I'll turn to Bird. Oh, that's weird. He didn't do much in our fight, did he?
Oh, he didn't. Huh?
She's like, "Well,
Also, I don't think he has
how
much
many?
meat
How
to
many? Do
slap
you
in
know
the
how many
wind.
monsters you slew? We only took down the cobra, so we only killed one."
We got. But did we get to round 4 or 5, guys?
I don't remember actually. Was it 4 or 5?
Well, it was 2 snakes at the beginning. You guys killed those, and then there was a scorpion.
The scorpion, and then
killed,
the
and
gargoyle.
then the gargoyle you guys got. So you killed 4.
We went 4 rounds, and then we killed a bunch of things in.
We did kill like 4 beastmen, didn't we?
Oh yeah, well we kind of stopped right about when it was like they were starting to overwhelm you. And
Yeah.
we said if we played it out, you guys probably would have killed. I would
Okay.
say
Well,
1
we
or
did.
2 at most.
No, I think we got a couple of them actually.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Either way, you guys got the most. So
All right.
So you guys are like, we got like 5 or 6-ish, maybe 8,
Yeah.
and they're all like,
Somewhere in there. I think I killed one as it killed me. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe it counts as a half.
I'm
then
pretty sure I just yelled profanities while they beat me to death inside that net.
So the next team that comes through is a half orc, and then 2 humans. They look like they're like a war cleric and a fighter. They're talking about how incredibly powerful the scorpion was, and how even though they had like a really good strategy, they're mad because the scorpion was able to like tear through them, even though they had like good rhythm of shifting from side to side, like tanking and doing like 1 attack at a time and going slow. But I rolled really, really good against them, and they just it was so sad. They got so robbed. They should have been way further up.
The scorpion it has a lot of attacks too.
A lot of
right?
attacks and pretty decent AC.
That's weird. I didn't I don't think we got hit until the gargoyle.
Everyone was like, "What?" And obviously the context will make a lot more sense, but they like
Did you guys just try killing the scorpion? That seemed to work out real well for us.
We didn't have a strategy either. We just went for it.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are just like gaslighting them into.
I mean, it's all true.
Yeah, it is. It's true. You're doing well. The next team comes out. It's another northern barbarian and a like kind of a classic steel-jawed, blonde-haired, super tall, buff Chad paladin. And then they have like a little life cleric girl. She's in like chainmail and has a nice, very well-crafted wooden great club that looks like it was like maybe made by druids or something. They come out and they're pretty like positive, bolstering each other up, and their leader is clearly the paladin, and he's like, that was a great performance, team. Our first real combat, we took out those snakes, no problem. Man, that scorpion though, and then they all kind of agree. find out that they also lost to the Scorpion. And then finally, the last match is underway, and none of you have yet to meet any of these other people. You've seen the others and slightly interacted with them. But the first person to come downstairs, Helios, you come down and you're in 3 parts. You're in like 3 pieces when you hit the bed. Ah! And then suddenly you feel like the rush of energy and the healing magic, and a bunch of people put your parts together, and you're back to normal.
That was a close one.
Yeah, they're like, go ahead and head downstairs. Your partners are still fighting in there.
Oh, thank you for the heals, my friends.
Yes, of course.
I'll walk down.
May the
walk
holy light
downstairs.
be with you, good sir.
And you as well. You're doing the Lord's work.
So he comes down the stairs, and he's a fairly short, very thick human.
Okay.
With wild black hair and a red bandana with an orange sun on it. But he looks like he's just wearing like peasant clothes, and he doesn't have any weapons or equipment or anything
It's
like
the
that.
D&D version of the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's who comes down, the first of the quote unquote teacher's pet team, Stovar. So now's your chance if you want to start yelling at him.
Oh.
This guy. He's just start grumbling and he'll light up one of his stogies.
Yeah,
Oh,
this guy.
And you check as you light that one up, it's your last one. So you're gonna need to re-up.
We need a sponsor.
You find like a tobacco salesman
Yeah.
that like sponsors you.
Well, I just turned to Bird and go, so the secret to getting like the really shiny head is just a little bit of wax on, and then you just wax it off, and then it just looks really nice and tidy.
So Helios, as you come down into the room, you see everyone but your 2 partners basically just standing there kind of waiting, talking, chatting about their matches. You're kind of in a limbo state because you haven't even found out how far your guys are getting while you're down here.
Alrighty. I'll go over into a corner and just meditate, reflect on the match, and try to figure out what had happened.
Okay.
Because last thing I remember was a snake biting me.
Was the snake biting you? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So it's a bit of a blur.
Okay. So he just quietly goes off into the corner, or well, kind of off to the side because it's like a circular room. But he goes off to the side and he looks to just like start quietly reflecting in the off to the side. So
Bird, let's figure out what this guy's up to over here. I'm gonna go stand over him and just smoke, blow it on him.
blow it up in his face.
Like straight up mobster style.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand
Helios.
slightly less menacingly directly next to him, just like an excited little kid.
I'm just gonna try to ignore him. Just like take in a deep breath. Be like,
Roll a Constitution saving throw to see if you cough up all the cough from all the smoke.
oof. That's an 11.
Okay, it's enough that like you can tell that you get like affected when you try to take a deep breath, but you don't lose your cool and you don't like start hacking up a lung or anything.
Oh, okay.
So you're just gonna ignore them while these
Yeah, I'm
dwarves
just gonna
bully
ignore
you? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll come over and go, is the room a little cold for you?
It's a little cold, yeah.
Yeah. I find circular rooms tend to be a little bit colder.
Why?
They tend to be a lot hotter for me. I mean, 360 degrees is.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
You guys.
You got
Oh, my character's too dumb to make that joke.
That's okay. We'll write it. It's not in the archives of character canon, but it's still a joke worthy to stay in.
Yeah, it is.
All
Yeah,
right.
it
Well,
approved.
Helios is gonna just keep to himself. It sounds like.
Yep.
So, did they just throw you into? You seem unprepared. I was unprepared. I was not ready to be thrown. I was forcibly entered into these games. You look like You were out running errands. Your real clothes are at the dry cleaners.
Mm,
At the
the,
seamstress?
the,
Well, let me guess. Let me guess. You brought them to your mother's house, and this is your spare clothes.
this one I'll respond to.
Okay.
I'll open my eyes and be like, my friends, a warrior needs no weapons, for he himself is a weapon for peace. I'll go back to meditating.
So, do you think this peace weapon over here made it all the way to the baby dragon, or?
I think this is only the piece of the weapon.
Hmm.
Where's the rest of it?
my friends are still battling, and their pain weighs heavy on my soul. Forgive me if I do not seem very light-hearted and cheerful. But we in fact battled two dragons, one small and one large.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Around 8's a doozy.
So as you guys are chatting, the a great sound of trumpets kind of roars in from both outside and below as King Alroy II enters through the guarded door leading from downstairs. The king's scowl of concern dissipates into a smile of relief as he sees that the teams are healed and safe. Thank you all! The kingdom is abuzz with talks of your intensity in battle! Please join me downstairs! And he turns back around and goes down to what you can now tell, because there's windows that just like show up sometimes. They're not there, and then you'll look, and then sometimes there's a window, and sometimes there isn't. Valerio's kind of like has a lot of weird, quirky magic going on in every room of his tower. So there's just like weird stuff that changes. But after you all kind of slowly filter into the stairwell and in the wall, and you enter one of Valerio's ever-shifting rooms, this one just appears to be an emptied warehouse. The door leading outside, which you are now on the ground level, the door leading outside opens to reveal the late afternoon sun, and the king speaks once more. I would be a very poor king if I did not pay bounties on monsters slain in my kingdom. For Stovar, Bird, and Joseph, slayers of the most monsters in the previous round, I present to you. And a couple of guards come running in, like fully armored guards with a small locked chest. They slam onto the ground and they throw in their 2 keys, unlock it, flip it open, and the familiar gleam of gold sparkles forth. 600 gold coins! And you will move on in the tournament of the Heroes of Kriegeland! A bunch of the guards and stuff like applaud you guys. Everyone kind of like does a round of applause. Then the guards come back with an identical chest. And he says, 600 gold coins and the ability to move on in the tournament of Heroes of Kriegeland. I give that to you, Volsk, Tak, Ming, Braxton, Helios, and Connor, for slaying the second most. I present the same. So, basically, Helios, you get 100 gold. You 3 get 200 gold each. And then the king continues. To Brog, Giles, Biggs, Vance, Caligar, and Mary, a chest of silver, 600 pieces, and the invitation to move on. And then suddenly, 5 of the 6 trios have been named, and all of the chamber's eyes kind of fall on the final trio. And the king speaks to them. To you, Mongoose, Nekessa, and Hector, 600 pieces of silver, and the end of your road on this quest. Mathanda's feast continues in town. Go with your earnings and enjoy your newly wrought fame. The next round of the tournament shall be presented to you and to the kingdom in 3 mornings hence. And with that, the coin is divided, and the king's caravan rides back into town. Joseph, Nekessa comes up, and she says to you, well, I guess that's it for me. I wish you luck. I wish we could have worked together because we did so well. She's like, you know, if you're ever in the jungles south, look me up. And so the first official Heroes of Kriegeland side quest is now open, which is Joseph goes and finds his wife.